This is the Criminally Outspoken podcast for 4th April 2024. It's Thursday. Alright. Today I want to talk about a lecture I watched. So, today morning, I don't know what inspired me to do this. Well, actually, I do know. Something in our family group chat happened where people were discussing coconut oil, and I was like, no, that's not how that works. And the topic turned to ketones, and I was just like, no, fuck this. I'm not gonna engage in this discussion because I always tend to go off topic and rant about everything. So I decided to just stop halfway through, and I looked up Peter Attia, Dr. Peter Attia, which is one of my go-to sources for any information about the longevity and medical world. So I decided to look at Peter Attia's work, and I start watching this lecture about just pillars of longevity and which levers to pull, and he's so eloquent, right? He goes on and on about things in a weird way, but he's very eloquent. Like he knows how to phrase things so that normal people understand, but also how doctors can understand, right? And because he's done engineering, and he's worked as a consultant, and he's done surgery, he can translate everything in the medical world in like proper engineering terms and math and trackable things. So it's very easy to understand him, especially for somebody like me who likes numbers. So I was watching his lecture, and first of all, my God, the guy's jacked, right? I don't know if he takes DRT or not, but the lecture was 6 years old, so I'm not really sure. Um, and first thing I noticed is, my God, he's jacked, and that T-shirt's too small for him, right? But what's up with people wearing too small shirts? I don't get it. I mean, I understand that your arms look bigger, your body looks bigger, but just be comfortable. Like, the guy had a polo T-shirt on that was unbuttoned, and he just looks so uncomfortable. It just looks so tight. I have no idea why people do that to themselves. Um, so, first of all, T-shirt too tight, and secondly, my God, the dude is jacked. Maybe that's why. Like, it kind of makes you look bigger. Your arms look bigger. Uh, so he starts going on and on about like the first 15-20 minutes. He goes on and on about this fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, um, and like, hey, Muhammad Ali thought that uh, it's better to tire George Foreman out and annoy him and beat him after that. So, like, he'll wear the guy out first. But I fail to understand like how that's related to the medical world. Maybe he just likes boxing, you know. Maybe the dude's just a boxing fanatic. Um, he was just using old analogies that was used in his generation, right? And that's the thing. The new generation barely knows who those guys are unless you're into that world. We've only heard about them. We've not seen their fights. Um, like, we weren't there for the hype, Like, in today's day and age, you have everybody's ready for the Logan. What is it, Jake Paul or Logan Paul? One of those guys. They're fighting Mike Tyson now. Like, that's what we're hyped about. These idiots trying to go against Mike Tyson, right? I don't know when that's gonna happen, but I can't wait for this guy to get his ass whooped by Mike Tyson. Because Joe Rogan literally had to get a bigger table because he was scared. And this Paul guy thinks he has enough balls to take on, one of the greatest legends of all time in boxing history. Who the fuck are you? So Anyway, I was watching this lecture and he goes on about the four, like how you increase your lifespan and health span. So it's like diet, exercise, nutrition, along with he didn't cover hormonal profiles or anything like that, but he goes quite into detail about, and also nothing about rapamycin. He just thought everybody knew about it, and I clearly want to know more. I wish he expanded on that, but I guess he only had an hour, so he can't really go over everything. He just condensed it down into a manageable format. So there were like distress tolerance levels, and I want to get into that, right? Because I feel like that's really important, especially for me. So I've noticed that my knowledge is primarily catered towards diet and nutrition, and this guy was like, fuck all that. So he just says as long as your blood glucose levels are balanced between 85 millimoles per deciliter with a standard deviation of 15 millimoles per deciliter, you should be all right. We want to try and maximize that. Try to not spike your insulin too much, and maybe get a bit of exercise in. The best bang for your buck being strength training. And he also mentioned like you want to decrease chronic illness, chronic injuries, chronic pain. So do those movements properly, right? Which makes sense. I approve. Um, at least for the average human, right? And I've gone on and on about this to my family about maintaining muscle mass and whatnot. But this Indian mentality, this old generation Indian mentality, frustrates me to no end. They just think that it's better to have, you know, oh, we're gonna do running. We're not gonna lift weights. We don't want to get too big, or you don't want to get too injured, or I don't know what the fucking reason is, right? But they just refuse to lift weights at all, and it fucking frustrates me to no end. Um, it's like going to the gym is some sort of taboo. I don't know why, but it's like it's so prevalent, even in my family. Not to mention, like I've seen a lot of people uh, just refuse to go to the gym in general. But then in my family, it's like, no, it's better to do some cardio than weightlifting, and God knows what else. And whenever I try to explain anything, people's eyes just glaze over and they're like, fuck it, we don't have enough time for this. I'd rather go binge on my next drug, right? And this is the case with everybody, not just my family, right? It's like, uh, fuck it. Instead of decreasing the sucrose and fructose levels that we're consuming, in case of, desserts and sweets, dessert, not desert. Oh god, I don't want to get into that right now. Uh, well, actually, no, because I keep making this mistake where I say desert instead of dessert, and dessert instead of desert, and it fucking frustrates me. Like I always lose that distinction when I say things, because I say things funny. I don't even have an Indian accent. I don't think, because I just like the way uh, when I talk, people can understand what I'm saying, each word. I like to enunciate. Maybe I do it a little too much. Uh, and growing up, I watched a lot of American TV shows, a lot of sitcoms, and to add to that, I watched a lot of American YouTube, or like people who live in America and Canada making content on YouTube. And also, I listened to a lot of Eminem growing up. So that kind of affected my accent growing up. And sometimes the Indian in me just comes out, you know. Like one of my friends pointed out that I say the word "don't" like an Indian sometimes, and my God, that made me so like self-aware. It was so funny for days afterwards where he would point it out. Uh, but it sometimes slips out in desert and dessert, and it's very frustrating. It's the same thing when people say "axe" instead of "ask." uh, or espresso instead of espresso, I just want to punch you guys in the fucking nuts, right? It's one of those things. Or I do this one on purpose. It's like instead of saying testicles, you say testicles. I just want to punch you in the testicles. So anyway, um, Peter Attia, right? The lecture. He mentions trying to reduce chances of heart disease the most because that's what's going to kill most people above the age of 40. So you got to start looking at all these different factors from the moment you can, and yeah, I kind of just refreshed all the knowledge I had in the back of my head, as, along with like, because I really want to keep my. Because here's the thing, right? Okay, both my grandfathers have had a heart attack, right? So I'm pretty fucking sure. Also, they had no hair, so I'm me and my fucking receding hairline, which I'm pissed about. So they both had heart attacks. So it's safe to say that we have some history of heart disease, and I really want to mitigate that to some extent. So gotta get my ApoB levels checked. But then if I have APO3 or APO4, I am at a higher risk of neurodegenerative disease. So, well, this is at least what I understand from his lecture. If you want advice, if just go watch the fucking lecture or go to his clinic, right? Like, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just telling you what I understood. So not he decides. He says that you gotta take all these other inflammation markers, IGF, fucking God knows what else, I can't remember their names, into consideration, get your blood lipids checked. And as I'm listening, it's like, wow, okay, I gotta figure this shit out, man. And for that, I need some sort of stable income, which I don't have right now. And it's just, oh God, it's so frustrating. Um, so I've also been, like I said, I've been running quite a lot recently, and I checked my weight after like 4 months. Is it 4 months? No, I don't know. It's just like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Anyway, so I checked my weight after maybe 2 months, and I've dropped 4 kilos. Four, no, yeah, 4 kilos, and I was so fucking shocked because I normally like waver between 69 and 71 kilos. So like somewhere between 146 pounds. What was it? 156 pounds. I think that's what it was. Um, and when I checked it today, yesterday, I was so fucking shocked because I'm currently living in Gujarat, where it's really difficult to get meat, right? Because it's so like frowned upon. People are mostly vegetarian here, and everybody's out of shape and dying of disease or like obese or whatever the fuck, right? Like a whole state. Well, I bet it's not the only state in India, to be honest, where eating meat is frowned upon. So getting the proper nutrients is super fucking difficult, especially for me, because I like to. I guess it's not that hard. I'm just being lazy about it, right? Because everything's available online. You just have to find it. So I've been trying to. I'm not really trying to stay on top of my nutrition, especially because here's the thing, right? When I used to live alone, it was really easy. I could buy 7, 8 containers and meal prep over the weekend and just stick them in the freezer and use the microwave whenever needed. But living here with other people, also when I used to live alone, I mean, like, there was no overbearing parent or guardian around. But here I'm living with a lot of my family, and they're all older than me, so not to inconvenience them, I'm having to like sacrifice some stuff, which I don't mind, to be honest, because like they're really nice people, and I'd happily do that for them. Uh, but it's like one of those things where it also comes with, I guess everything comes with a reaction. This is one of those, and the result from that is that I've downsized quite a bit because it's mostly just vegetarian food I'm surviving on. And I'm not really tracking my micronutrients either. Not tracking anything really. And like I think I talked about this in the previous podcast where um, as a gifted kid, like I need to learn how to work hard. So I kind of sacrificed literally everything else in my life to learn how to work hard first, and then the nutrition shit can come later. So, in short, my weight went down. I've downsized. I might have lost fat with it, but I've definitely lost so much muscle to go with that. I'm hoping it'll come back when I get my shit in order, especially after listening to this lecture by Peter Attia. I was just like, nah, I gotta get my shit together. So this was the by the way, my dumbass decides to do this in bed uh, as soon as I wake up, like, because obviously I have no semblance of a schedule whatsoever because I'm living at home studying, right? So first of all, here's what pisses me off, right? And I piss myself off. I wake up late, and the first thing I do is go on my phone, and the second thing I do is get into like with the scientific dispute about something uh, with my family, and then I proceed to berate myself by watching Peter Attia's lectures about how to be less neglectful about your health, and it's just like that's the that's the perfect recipe, perfect cocktail recipe for disaster, right? What's it called? Perfect cocktail for disaster? I don't. Yeah. So it was, you know, it's pretty frustrating when I do this to myself, and I gotta stop doing that, right? Like, I think I've been making some progress because I'm close to finishing one of the modules um, in in the maths part of CAT, and I feel like that's a pretty major milestone for me because honestly, like, it's some semblance of a result which I crave because obviously when you work hard, you want some result, right? It's gonna keep you going, and I feel like finishing one of these modules is gonna give me that confidence boost. Now, clearly, I haven't done it well, and I need to go over all the practice problems again, but it's something, it's some semblance of a result, which I think for somebody like me, like who doesn't know how to work hard, it's some sort of motivation. It's some sort of reinforcement of good behavior, and I feel like that's gonna make a huge difference. Because normally, what I do is I study for like 2 hours, and then I play Stardew Valley for 6. But last night, I actually got myself motivated to work on more of the problems. I did more, maybe like 2.5, 3 hours. Now it's a minute increase, right? It's very minute. And even today, when I woke up, I didn't linger doing random shit for super long amounts of time. Like I was actually motivated to finish this module, and I sat down and I did some questions before, there's 3 people ringing the doorbell, the maid's here to do the cleaning. It's just like I had to just get up and get out of the house because I was so frustrated with the fucking distractions. And that was within an hour of studying, right? So I didn't even get much done, but the difference was that almost finishing the module was such a huge reward for me that I was actually motivated to work. And I think that's what's been missing. Because I think I talked about this last time again, where I feel like there's no reward. It's only the stick, no carrot, right? But if I can set some rewards for myself along the way, it might really motivate me. The problem is I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want. Right? So, maybe I can deal with these addictions at the same time. So it's like, okay, I'm not allowed to play Stardew Valley until I finish this one chapter for the day. Or if it takes me 2 days, well, guess what? I'm only playing Stardew Valley after I finish this one chapter, right? And then I can play to my heart's content for that singular day, and then rinse and repeat that cycle the next day. And I feel like that's such a good system for me because then slowly, I mean, it's not going to be a huge drastic change already, like from day one, but I feel like it's going to make me a bit more motivated to study, right? Because if I have something to look forward to, I feel like I'm gonna put in so much more effort than because okay, there's two from what I understand, right? There's two reward pathways. There's the fear and no, sorry, two motivation pathways, right? There's one fear based, and then one is reward based or pleasure based, right? So the first is when you're running away from something, and then the second is pleasure based, reward based. So when you're running towards something, so like if you're running from a bear, right? Like if you're running away from a brown bear, you're gonna have a lot of motivation to do that, unless it catches up to you, which it will pretty quick. You know what? Bad example. Let's say a bunch of ducks are chasing you. A bunch of wingless ducks are chasing you on foot. You're gonna have some motivation. And this is not like a singular duck, right? This is a whole. What's a plural of ducks? A herd of ducks? A gaggle of ducks? A gaggle of geese? I don't fucking know. Alright, let's say they're geese now, alright? The ducks have now morphed into geese. A whole gaggle of geese, of wingless geese, are chasing you on foot. And they're gonna fucking rip you to shreds if they find you. They're like one of those albino fucking geese with red eyes, and they're gonna chase you to the ends of the earth, right? And you're armed with nothing to fight them with, right? Okay? So you're running away from that the entire time. Now that's some motivation. But it's also like you're constantly stressed, you're running away, and it's like it's just annoying, it's painful. So instead of that, what if you're running towards something? I don't know. Whatever people like, right? If you are a fucking pastry connoisseur, or a chocolate connoisseur, or a wine connoisseur, you can schedule that for yourself. Like, hey, end of the week, if I hit my target, here we go. This nice, great bottle of star fruit wine from Stardew Valley, right? Or ancient fruit wine, I don't know, right? Or it's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna treat myself to this new kind of fucking Oreo silk chocolate, right? Cadbury or whatever, whatnot, right? Or a bunch of fucking candy that you like. So instead of now running away from something, you're running towards something, and it's like positive reinforcement of, or it's just reinforcement of good behavior, right? Because you're cementing that dopamine, which is working to, like, when you crave something, not actually when you get the thing, but it's like when you're getting the thing. So now you're not just studying for or doing your work with no reward, but now it's coupled with that reward. So it's a bit more motivation. Now, the ultimate motivation, I think, can be when you combine fear-based and reward-based motivation together. So let's say you're running away from a gaggle of wingless geese by stealing fucking starfruit wine, and they're chasing you trying to get it back, and you just want to have a sip as soon as you get home, right? inside a fortified castle so the geese can't get in, right? That's the ultimate motivation right there, right? So for me, I think it's gonna be Stardew Valley, and I'm hoping that it increases my work efficiency. And I also want to get my shit in order, man, because I stayed up so many nights playing that shit that my sleep schedule is fucked, and I really want to improve that. I want to get up at 8, start working by 9, and be done for the day by 6 or 7 in the evening, because it's studying and I'm gonna make my own food at some point. So that's the thing, right? It's gonna take me at least an hour in between. An 8 or 9 hour workday, well, not exactly workday, but like a study day with full focus is more than fucking enough to, you know, tire me out to, I don't know, play Stardew Valley that night for a couple of hours before sleeping. Oh, here's the fucking addiction kicking in, right? Like anything for the drug, anything for Stardew. Anyway, so that's that. And what else did I want to talk about today? Let's see. Let's see. I'm opening my phone right now. Let's have a look. Oh, meditation, right? I've not been doing it at all. I don't know why I put that on the list there. So fuck that. And actually, well, I did it yesterday, right? I did it right before sleeping for 30 minutes, and I couldn't make it the full 30 minutes as usual. I only did it for like 25. And it was so fucking difficult because all I was thinking of was food, because I've been trying to fast more, and I was just like, oh fuck, food, pastries, fucking meat. I need a steak in me. Fuck, I haven't had a steak in God knows how long. At least year and a half. At least a year and a half, maybe like 2 years. And honestly, man, what I would do for a steak right now. Um, what the hell is wrong with this angle grinder? Tell you what, there's so much noise everywhere you go, and this is one of the things that Peter Attia was talking about as well. Your tolerance, your disturbance tolerance, whatever, and how you deal with shit, right? So it's it's like a small stimulus is gonna cause you to have some sort of reaction to it, a negative reaction. And if you're so, what's the best analogy I can give for this? So it's like a well, right? You don't throw people down this well. No, no, it's filled with water. But if it's only filled to like shin high water, right, or ankle high water, then it's okay to throw people in. They're gonna die, right? But that's what most people, not most people, uh, but like that's a pretty bad thing to have, because then you're just gonna be annoyed and angry the entire time, because it's like, what? Let me say this in normie terms, right? Normie as in like killing people, not okay. So you can't just keep throwing people in the well and expecting them to survive, right? You're gonna be angry all the time. You're gonna be annoyed all the time. It's not fun. But then what if like the well is filled to the fucking brim, right? It's at least I don't know, 20 fucking feet deep, 40. I don't know how deep wells go. Good God. Let me look this up at some point. So I'm gonna look this up at the same time I'm talking. So it's gonna be brutal, right? So if it's filled at the brim, you're not gonna kill people. Like, it's the same way with annoyance, right? If you have a lot of tolerance, a little noise isn't gonna annoy you. It's not gonna distract you. So, okay, here we go. Here we go. How deep are wells? Most water wells are dug between 100 and 500 feet deep. Holy fuck. That's insane. Now, it's my poor fucking knowledge about how wells are made, but just thinking about it, like how much you'd have to dig. I get that they're machines now, but goddamn, 100 to 500 feet deep. Can you imagine throwing somebody down 500 feet? Like that'd be fucking cruel. Like that's Jesus, that's deep. Because what's like 500 feet, right? Divide that by three. Uh, Definitely more than 300 meters, right? No, sorry, 100 meters. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, definitely more than 150 meters. Yeah, because 150 times 3 would be 450, right? It's like 150 meters. So that's like this entire playground that I'm in, right? From one end to the other. That's like 110, 120 meters, and a bit more than that. That's that underground is massive. Right? Imagine a 100-meter track sprint, and now you level that vertically. Like, what the fuck? How did humans even? How did we come up with this shit? That's insane. All right. I want to know the first guy who decided to just be like, hey, you know what? Dig. The first guy that decided that dirt, not for me, especially not in this area, right here. And he started digging, right? I want to know that guy. So, what was I even talking about? Right, the tolerance thing, right? So, instead of throwing somebody down 100 meters uh, and them dying, like they live in the water because they can swim. I guess that's also a factor in my analogy. Let's say everybody here can swim, right? But you can't if there's no fucking water. You can't swim in air. Well, I guess you can until you fall and splatter all over. And I guess that'll increase the level of the water somewhat. Because, blood starts mixing. Okay, I'm getting too gory. Anyway, so it's better to have a high tolerance so, like, none of this shit bothers you. And for me, I've noticed that noise is one of my pet peeves. Like, any kind of loud noise, especially if it distracts me while I'm focused, is gonna get me in some fucking. Is gonna get me in a mood that nobody wants to see me in, right? It's bad for everybody. So, I need to get better at that. Um, maybe, maybe I should just convert to being a Buddhist. Just that's what I've been thinking for like the last year. Like, fuck all this, right? Fuck the money, fuck, all the dreams, all the new age, new problems. Fuck it. Just become a Buddhist monk in some fucking ashram or just fuck it, dude. It doesn't matter. None of this shit means anything. I guess it's like one of my failings to understand like my purpose in life, but man, sometimes I swear to God, just want to quit everything and like live Stardew in real life. Go to a farm, sell blueberries, make a crap load of money, or it's like. Also, how unrealistic is Stardew Valley, right? Your grandpa dies and he gives you a will and leaves you a whole fucking farm, right? In this economy, no fucking way. And even if he does give you some kind of land, right? How is the government not snatched it up already? Okay, we're getting political. Not the right tone for this podcast, right? So, uh, anyway, forget what I was talking about. No, I didn't. I remember. So it's like either you go to a farm and you just live out your days herding animals, harvesting fucking strawberries or blueberries, making them into wine, make them jams. If it was me, knowing me, I'd just have a fucking mushroom farm in the winters as well. Like, have an underground basement where instead you don't hang bodies, but you grow mushroom instead, maybe on the bodies. Hey, from all the bodies you threw down the well, right? Right? Secret entrance. Everybody catch my drift? Heck yeah. Fuck yeah. Alright. So, either have a mushroom farm and like some fucking shiitakes and morels on the market. Although morel farming is a bit tough, but fuck it. I'll figure it out, right? Like how hard could it be? Only one person has, or like a father-son duo has done it so far. Like how hard could it possibly be, right? I'd say. Um, so so what was I? Yeah, it's either that or go live with the monks in some ashram. Just become one of those, uh, no muscle mass, no fucking clothes, no slippers, no nothing. Just be one with the monkeys. Like one of those monks. Pray to think about life and do nothing. Just sit down, do nothing, be present, become the next Buddha. Um, at least you'll be somewhat content in life, right? That that's what's missing. Well, fuck it. It's not like that's really viable for me right now. But some days, my God, am I tempted to just do that. On that note, on that note, would you rather become a monk or become a farmer? That's a question everybody should consider. And that is where I'll leave you guys today. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye bye.